Welcome, everyone, and welcome Hemant Taneja, CEO and Managing Partner of General Catalyst, MIT alum with 5 degrees. Yes, you heard well, 5 degrees, and one of the leading voices in the AI space.
So, General Catalyst manages over 40 billion in assets and has backed some of the most transformative companies in our space, from Stripe to Anduril, and to at least 4 of the companies that have been here today: Grammarly, Collaborative Robotics, Overjet, and Applied Intuition. And who knows, maybe 1 or 2 of the future companies that they'll back is probably here as well. So,
Hemant, we're very excited to have you here. We want to warm you up, and we're going to do a quick, rapid fire of crazy questions that we came up with.
So how it's going to work, Danny and I are going to take turns. You have 30 seconds maximum to answer our questions. And yes, this is a test.
30 seconds for all the questions or per question? I'm slow.
Per question, per question.
You're going to get your 6th degree with this.
Can I use ChatGPT?
So we're going to kick things off with a little bit of MIT nostalgia. And we'd love to know from all the courses you took, which was your favorite class at MIT?
There's so many that I did not go to. Probably Signals and Systems, 003 at that time.
Okay.
We're of course 6 people here.
Okay. If you could send one piece of advice back to your MIT student self, what would that be?
I think I would have studied more philosophy.
Okay.
So if Claude from Anthropic, that you invested in, went to MIT, which dorm would it live in?
East Campus. Did I get that right?
Okay, now we're going to switch gears, and we're going to get to know the human behind the fund. So if you weren't in venture capital, what would you be building right now?
What would I be building? Some company.
Like?
I think I'm already building them. I think a lot of my focus broadly is on just AI diffusion, and what does that mean for probably workforce training, reskilling. That's a big topic for me. That's what I would go work on.
Okay. What do you do to reset your mind during what we're so sure you have, marathon work days?
Context switching. I think I just do email. I don't really reset. That's the reality.
I hope it's superhuman.
What is the last non-AI book you read and loved? And you can say yours.
That's the one I wrote.
It's an AI book.
The Future of Capitalism, which is by Paul Collier.
Okay.
We'd love to know, what's an AI productivity hack that you use daily?
Try not to use ChatGPT too much. I think it's actually a crutch in a lot of ways. So.
That's interesting. Cool. No, I use it too much. Okay. What about a dream dinner guest? Someone that is alive that you haven't met yet, that you would take to dinner?
I think I could do that with most people that are alive. Probably dead people are more interesting to me.
Okay, go for a dead person.
Nelson Mandela.
Fair.
Okay, so we're not done yet. We're grilling him here. So now for the questions that every founder in this room may want to know. We want to hear some unfiltered VC takes, starting by, what is a company that you wish you had invested in but didn't?
Ooh, that's a long list. There's a lot I missed. In fact, one of the sessions I talked about, the very first company I missed that taught me a lot about just backing founders, not overthinking my own idea, was actually Dropbox. Drew was leaving MIT. I'd offered him a job to come work at GC. He said, I'm going to go start this search company, and I was like, well, that's highly uninteresting. And then he builds a $10 billion business. Since then, I've missed a lot. I missed Coinbase, which we seeded, didn't really participate. We didn't really do OpenAI. It was so ambiguous at that time in terms of its structure. I didn't really wrap my head around that. So I have an endless list. I don't think we have enough time for that.
What is the most underappreciated trait of a founder?
Well, the one that I appreciate the most, maybe is intellectual honesty. I think you want to find people that are willing to constantly iterate their own assumptions and don't hold on to opinions too strongly. And that's key to navigating the ambiguity it is in building a business. So,
Totally.
What founder has taught you the most about resilience?
about resilience. Wow. The founder who's not in our portfolio but has had the most complex company building actually is Sam Altman. I mean, if you think about the iterations he's gone through, the personal attacks, the complexity, everybody coming at it, it's pretty amazing how he continues to evolve himself and the company to step up to it. That's a lot of growth in not a lot of time.
And very public growth.
And very public growth, yeah.
What is the most overhyped concept in the AI space and industry right now?
Billion-dollar seed rounds.
Fair.
So, your new book does outline 9 transformation principles. But if you had to pick just one for the founders in this room to master first, which would it be?
I think the one I would draw the most attention to is around curiosity and generosity. Because the way you create a happy human being and then a happy culture around you is if you're constantly learning and constantly being in service of others. And that's what creates foundationally the best companies and actually creates sort of an inner core that allows you to have the perseverance, the resilience to do things. So I'd probably draw to that because I think that's an important lesson for the very long game of building enduring companies.
Well, I think this is a perfect segue because we want to dig deeper into some of the other transformation principles, and a lot of them, yes, stem precisely from that. But yeah, your new book argues that businesses must have a soul. And we're wondering, in this age of AI, how do you actually identify and invest in the companies that maintain their humanity while leveraging these very powerful technologies?
So let me just kind of rewind a little bit as to like why I wrote the book. If you think about the last 10 years and everything that has transpired, social media to populism to nationalism to wars, and then we were handed a insane pandemic worldwide. We've had interesting dynamics where with the US-China decoupling, supply chains are shifting themselves. So everything is changing. And in the middle of all of that, we get afforded this technology that's a pretty profound one with artificial intelligence, right? Sort of, it hits the zeitgeist in November of 22. First time there's a technology where every CEO in every industry in every country is thinking about what do I do with this. So you also know the diffusion is going to be very fast of this technology. It's already happening. I think we'll look back and say this was the year where you started to really see AI take hold in the context of transforming work, which to me is the big change. And so when you have that much ambiguity where the world's changing, there's geopolitics, and then at the same time, you also have this technology which we don't really understand its complete capabilities. That's a lot of ambiguity you have to navigate, and on the other side of it, there's a pretty profound transformation. So when you have that type of an environment, the only thing you have that can guide you is your principles. So I took the time to spend a couple of years thinking through what are our principles going to be as we deploy, over the next 20 years, we'll probably invest $300, $400, $500 billion into this transformation as General Catalyst. What are our principles with which we're going to do that? So that was sort of the reason for doing it. And this idea of the business must have a soul, I think if you go back to the Vedic philosophy on soul, it truly is about building things that outlast you, is sort of the mindset I want to derive from that. So if you're a founder, you're building these next generation of companies that are truly going to be enduring and be as part of this transformation. What is that sort of deep-rooted core that you're building with? And so just anchoring on that to start is something I look for in every founder we look at. We sort of say, why is this their life's work? And is this about them, or is this about their work that they want to have transcend their own journey?
So I'm curious, what do you think is General Catalyst's soul?
It's anchored on relationships. We really think about it as, the way I describe GC internally now to our team and also externally is we basically do three things. We activate the world's most ambitious people. Many are in this room. We focus on building enduring companies. And there's a belief that enduring companies are the ones that are in service to society, not only focusing on profit, but also purpose. We want to use those companies to transform industries. So that's the way we look at it. And the GC promise is very much about, can we create all the moats that are required for founders to build the most successful companies? So everything we do is sort of in service of that. And that entire system anchors on trust with the people we build these companies with.
And could you share a specific example where soul was a deciding factor for an investment you made?
Yeah, many. I mean, I think I'll give you one example of a company that continues to compound. I invested in it in 2012. It's a company called Class Dojo. And there's Sam and Liam are these two incredible founders. They don't get distracted by all the hype and everything going on in the world. They're very focused on, in the classroom. They showed me this slide 13 years ago that we teach pedagogy, but we don't teach social and emotional learning, which is so essential to succeed in school. And they've been on that mission. And they've iterated through technologies, they believe in it, and they keep systematically building towards this new system of engagement for classrooms. 13 years in, it feels like day one for them. That's just the way they behave, and they've stayed true to the mission that they set out to do. I'm not sure it's going to be the world's biggest company, but it's going to be one of the world's important companies that touches our future in the world.
Okay, so maybe going back to what we were discussing before, and one other principle, I'm quoting you, creating the future beats improving the past. What are you seeing through creation, and what is a portfolio company that chose to reimagine an entire industry rather than just automate it?
Yeah, so I'll give you two examples of companies that we're building, and one which sort of incrementally improves the past, and one really rethinks the future. If you apply AI to customer support and call centers, there's so much going on in that. There's so many companies getting built. We started a business that essentially started acquiring call centers in emerging economies, and then going to those customers and saying, we will give you AI-based service. And that is essentially going to them and saying, you are paying X, we can give you a better experience and a lower cost experience because we're going to use AI, which is even cheaper than the labor arbitrage that we were leveraging. That's sort of improving the past. And I think it's going to be a very, very interesting company, but there's like 20 of them. We similarly took that core technology capability and we launched a company called Hippocratic AI, which partnered with a lot of health systems and built an agentic workforce that's on the phone that takes care of your consumers coming into the hospital or being discharged, and essentially doing pre-op, post-op check-ins with these patients, especially the elderly. So in that case, you could go from having a nurse on the phone that will typically cost you over $90, $100 an hour, and there's not enough of them, and you're triaging how many people you can take care of, to an agentic workforce that is trending towards free because of deflationary technology. And so now you can actually call everybody. So if there was a pandemic, you can check in on every single person and guide them on their test, trace, isolate. If there's an elderly person, you can talk to them ad nauseum for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, so they don't feel lonely, and make sure they're taking the medication. That's abundance. That's really rethinking the care model with which we're going to take care of our people. So when we think about a lot of the stuff we're doing in AI, I'm very focused on how do we drive abundance with AI in society in the core areas where their resources are lacking and society can't really afford, so healthcare, education, things like that.
I love that, and we've been actually talking about that a lot today. We had Lumeris with like Tom AI. We had Pear Healthcare talking about, when there's not enough doctors, nurses out there to reach out to patients, right? Like it's not about AI replacing humans, but like filling the gap where we don't have enough humans to kind of give the service that people need. And I think this takes me perfectly into the next part of our conversation. We have learned about the Suma Health acquisition, which we felt is revolutionary. For those who don't know, GC acquired an entire hospital system to transform it from within. And this is radical collaboration at its most extreme.
You guys did your homework.
Of course we did. We're so excited to chat with you. We're curious, could this model extend to other critical infrastructure? We know you're passionate about energy, manufacturing. Could you see applying this radical collaboration model in those spaces?
Yeah, so first of all, I think the core idea is if we're truly going to transform industries, you can't do that just by saying, hey, we're a bunch of smart AI people from Silicon Valley and we're just going to come do everything for you. It really has to be you team up with domain experts in the industry, incumbents, and then create the new. So in that context, as we started thinking about transforming the healthcare system, we built a series of companies that work on different parts of how hospitals run. Patient engagement, clinicians and the scribing tools they need, payments, diagnostics, and we sort of have gone and created all the pieces that are required. And we said, to really demonstrate a transformation, why don't we acquire a health system? We'll go in there, we'll actually do this hands-on. It has 8,500 people. It's the largest employer in Akron, Ohio. And that if we can demonstrate it there, we'll have a blueprint to do it in the rest of the country. And so that was the reason. And the fact that the city of Akron, the community there, the workforce of Suma, all were bought in to do that with us is radical collaboration. So we have a team on the ground. We have 120 projects mapped. We're working with them to create the new. And frankly, this is the mindset that we need to have across all the industries. We actually bought a Hollywood studio 2 years ago. We're doing the same thing. We launched a clean model for Hollywood that a lot of the media companies are working with now called Moon Valley. And we're looking at doing that in asset management and other business processes. So the whole idea has been put AI teams and industry businesses together and then reimagine how you would create these AI native companies.
You invest in companies that really empowers humanity. So as AI evolves so fast, what should MIT students or founders in this room focus on building today that will still matter in 10 years beyond the current AI hype?
Well, I think that's like everything. I actually think we have an opportunity to reimagine work entirely, how we learn. I think education is one that people haven't really taken a effective crack at. Why is it that we study for the first 22 years of our lives and work for the rest? If this technology is going to be as dynamic, shouldn't there be a lifelong subscription of learning? And you essentially learn and leverage this technology. And should there be a pedagogy that teaches you how to ask the right questions versus solve problems, if AI is going to help you solve problems? Because it's sort of, in some ways, the most generalized prompt engineering. Like, do we think differently about what that's going to mean as well? So I think that there's a lot in transforming the education system to prepare for what work's going to mean in this next phase. I don't think we have done nearly enough work in that area, especially in the context of how fast this technology is changing.
Well, if anybody is working on that, come talk to Hemant. Well, are there any other parting words, thoughts, or things to inspire the audience that is here today that you would like to share?
First of all, how lucky are we that we are living in this time frame? It's a. I thought it was interesting when Uber and DoorDash got created, and I was like, oh my God, like we're just going to completely rethink the world, right? So I think the first thing is just take a step back and think about that we get to be part of this incredible period, and that's also a responsibility because I don't think there has been a technology cycle like this before ever, and whatever we do now is going to impact people for hundreds of years. So just forcing ourselves to think long term is going to be really essential, and you have to do it in the context of a technology that's constantly changing on us, and we have to make sure we shape its role in society. We have to learn how to live in a world of two species that have a symbiotic relationship, one bionic, one not. It's going to be very interesting. Imagine the agents that Grammarly is building. I'm sure Shishir talked about those earlier, working right next to you, and what does it mean to have respect for that? And what does it mean to be managed by that and managing that? And so there's a whole cultural change that's going to have to come that we have to define that we think is enduring as well. So we just got to take that seriously and lean into it. And that's why I was saying earlier, I wish I had studied more philosophy, because that is going to be an important skill and mindset as we think through these problems.
Thank you, Hemant. This has been incredible. And I think you're inspiring leaders to, lead with curiosity, generosity. And we know you're transforming multiple industries, the VC industry itself as well. And we really just want to encourage everyone here to dive deeper, read the book, and...
it's outside.
Yeah, it's outside. Please join us in giving a huge round of applause again to Hemant.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.